Greetings in the name of His Majesty Kadamawi Haile Selassie and Her Majesty Gramawiti Tegemenen. Greetings in the name of the Royal House of Haramanuba. Greetings in the name of Rastafari Polygamy. My name is Tau Tau Haramanuba. I'm the Lord of the House of Haramanuba, the King of the Empresses of the Royal House of Haramanuba. My Lord and Empresses, give thanks.
Blessed love, give thanks, my Lord. Behind the camera, you have Empress Black Mary Menen. On today's episode, we will be asking questions concerning polygamy in Rastafari. So first question, why polygamy? You know, a lot of men in Rastafari and out of Rastafari, they have different reasons as to why they choose the life of polygamy. So now for you personally, why polygamy in Rastafari? Because we are talking to a Rastaman who is practicing polygamy in Rastafari. So why polygamy in Rastafari?
Polygamy is very necessary in Rastafari, considering that Rastafari, we are the only probably nation or a movement or a community with more women than men and with more men than women. It's a abnormality, it's an oddity. But also Rastafari is one of the youngest nation that evolved and began in 1930. So this year we are basically with the coronation of His Majesty Haile Selassie. We are celebrating 91 years of the existence of this particular nation. And this nation has more men than women, number one. Number two, this nation, like any other nation, has an obligation to perpetuate itself into the future. Like any other communities, we are losing a whole lot of members through death, through imprisonment, because ganja is still illegal. So 90% of Rastafari sell ganja as their livelihood. So therefore, you have a large number of Rastamen incarcerated. Like for instance, in South Africa, we have about 234 prison, and in all those 234 prison, if you go in there, you're going to find the Rastafari in numbers. In Modabi prison alone, about the past 3 years, 4 years ago, I was doing spiritual care in that particular prison, and I was administering to about 26 Rastafari. Give thanks.
Blessed love, we give thanks. Going straight to the second question, what are the challenges are you facing as the polygamist in Rastafari?
Well, the challenges I face is criticisms, because majorly one of the most major three orders of Rastafari that came to from Jamaica, Nyabingi, Bobo Shanti, and 12 tribes of Israel, pretend to be monogamous or have pretensions of monogamy and therefore preaches monogamy and in the name of His Majesty had one wife, and therefore polygamy is viewed as contradictions of His Majesty and contradictions of their concept of Rastafari based on or looking at Rastafari through their orders, so they see it as a contradiction. So it gives a challenge of criticism, which is normal there really now. Like in the past, it used to be a lot where people will they would even have special meetings and all those type of things. But what is going on right now is they criticize there and there, and they'll always throw in the thing that His Majesty had one wife. So having more than one wife is kind of like a violation of His Majesty's marital status, and to the extent they'll dare say His Majesty's recommendation, which basically they can't even show you where did His Majesty say. I recommend that every Rastaman and Rasta woman must have one woman. So, and then of course, life, social living, you'll still find challenges like any other life. You know, we are still living under a repressive system. As a Rasta who will sell ganja, you also are faced with police brutality and so forth. But there are no strong challenges that really we can deal with, you know, in terms of a Rasta man dealing with his Rasta women, like in terms of family. It's a management act, so every now and then we have a reasoning and we reflect at challenges that we go through, we reflect at a situation that needs our attention, and and then it's just going on as normal. So I wouldn't say there is so much of challenges, really and truly.
Because of time, we'll go straight to question number 3. I had a lot of, most, not everyone is against polygamy. There are ones who are interested in knowing more about it and even getting into practicing it. So there's this thing going on that the first wife should be the one who is choosing the other empresses. So do you have any maybe reference about that? Because they say that polygamy was initiated by women. Do you have anything to say about that, and what are your personal views on the first wife being the one choosing the rest of the wives?
I know polygamy because it's one of the ancient traditions, practices that you'll find among the Bantu people, within the Bible, within the ancient societies. There's also a lot of fantasization around it. People do a lot of fantasization, and they say idealistically what they think it should be. Like, for instance, what scenario will that be? That your first wife, you propose her, and then she get to propose four of your other wife behind her. Not you propose her. They become wives of her own specifications. They become wives of her own liking, wives of her own security or insecurity. What kind of a situation will that be? Of course, that situation doesn't exist. But in most people, the people who always throw this type of recommendations and say, oh, the right polygamy is that the first wife must choose the second wife, is people who are anti-polygamy and trying to say to you, the way you're doing it wrong. There is no formula to polygamy, for one. You can study it biblically. How did Abraham acquire Sarah? How did Israel, Jacob, acquire his 4 women? Different methodology. None of them suit that. Up until to anyone, like you, to African culture and African tradition, how many, the famous one who's on our TV screens, Musa Mseleko, did his first wife choose the second wife? No. But these are the things they throw on you to try to say, you're not doing it right. You should do it this way. And the way they're recommending that you should do it is next to impossible, because how is that be? Women in polygamy, they don't become less women or become less queen. Like if you have 3 queens, it doesn't mean like wife number 3 is priority number 3, or she's a junior response, junior attraction, junior this, and so wives, all women should enjoy to be proposed by their men. All women should have their own one-on-one relationship with their men. All women should have this special connection that they develop with their men. So it can be that Omam Kuda, or the first wife, go out and pick up wives for you based on her interests and specific. How do you connect with that? That is tantamount to arranged marriage. So basically, ignorant people who like to talk about polygamy, they like to mention that ignorant line that the first wife must choose. It is one particular circumstance, and which is an exception. It is not a norm. The norm is there's no particular norm. Like one of the reasons could be barrenness. The first wife doesn't get babies, and recommend that you get a woman that she can trust. It can be a sister, it can be somebody who less threaten her, and so forth. And we've seen the perfect example of that in the Bible, that when the first wife Sarah chose Hagar, and when she no more need Hagar, she chases her away. So therefore, it's not even the wife of the king. It's not the wife of Abraham. It's not the wife of the husband. It's the wife of the wife. So when the wife is tired of her or feel threatened by her, she chases her. We have seen with the example of a lady who inbox you, who is approached by this couple to be the second sister wife. And then when the first wife, feel threatened by this beautiful young lady, he chases her away. So it's an arrangement that is, we can't call it really polygamy, because polygamy is one man married to more than one woman.
Okay. So now in closing, what would be your message to the world of Rastafari?
Well, Rastafari polygamy is a reality. There are many Rastafari who are not necessarily out there declaring their polygamous relationships, but they are practicing it. And some they go even to the extent of the Jamaican baby mama culture. And in South Africa here, there is a baby mama, there is a side chick. I know a lot of brothers with more than one empresses who know one another, and I know a lot of brothers who pretend this Naya being monogamy with a whole lot of side empresses. I wouldn't say side chicks because they're still having an empress and having some other unknown empresses who are Rasta and going to the same tabernacle and chanting the same praises and saying fireborn evil and fireborn with men with two women, and while he's also one of the men with the two women, and you wonder why this thing we're doing doesn't go anywhere. The guilty are fire burning the guilty. The sinners are fighting sinners for sinning different from their sinning. So I will say that we have to throw away hypocrisy. We have to be realistic. This is in the nature of the man as a king. Now, Rastafari ennoble a man. You take even a simple man and make him a king, put a crown on his head, and they say a king. And then the woman look upon him and say, my king, my king. The society come across you and look at you as my king. Now, something of power like that eventually comes with it, attractions and so forth. So there's no king with one queen, unless the kings of Europe. But African kings is king with many, more than one queen. And for this nation to multiply, we have to normalize polygamy. It has to be part of Rastafari strategy for nation building. We have to deliberately go out there and acquire more than one wife to come and build this Rastafari nation, acquire more than one empress to come and build this Rastafari nation. We are currently, the scale is loop-sided. There are more men and few women in the movement, and we need to see us having more women and few men in the movement and a lot of children. It is said in Isaiah 4 verse 1, in the last days 7 women shall take hold of one man, and they shall come with their food and their clothes just to be called by his name. And we say his name is a Rastafari name, the name that is written on his forehead, and when people look at you and say Rasta. So now these women, they say, we would like to be called by this name, that you are glorified and you glorify. Give thanks and praises to the Most High, Rastafari. Together, we can make Rastafari polygamy work.
Rastafari. Yeah, we give thanks, my Lord. I think that's a wrap from us today. We will continue this in the next chapter, because obviously we do need to have a continuation of it, which will be chapter 2, because this is a very interesting topic. It needs more time because there's a lot that people don't understand. They need to understand, and yeah, we are giving them this platform to join us and engage with us and learn. Like they always say, that we are learning, we want to learn. So this is where now we come forward to say, here is the Grandmaster. If the student is ready, he must just, or she must just come and join in. We will see you on the next one. Blessed love.
Blessed love, Rastafari, my Lord and Empresses. I.